Again, you know, it's always an honor and a privilege to introduce your boss. And I know that my boss does not like long introductions, so I will introduce the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congressman Butterfield.
Thank you, and good morning, one and all. That's one of the first things that Troy learned about me when he first came on board, and that is I do not like long introductions. You give me a long introduction, and I will crawl under the chair, and if you keep going, I will walk out of the door. But it's good to see all of you this morning, and thank you so very much for coming. It is true that I am going to have to leave here momentarily. We have votes probably somewhere around 10:30. I've got to be in the Oval Office with the President at 11 o'clock and to talk about criminal justice reform. I have to be in Richmond at Virginia Union University at 3 o'clock to give a speech on the 13th Amendment, and then on to Montgomery, Alabama tonight. And so we've got to make this very quick. But let me thank the panelists and thank all of you for coming, and thank you for your extraordinary work. I bring greetings on behalf of the Congressional Black Caucus. There are 46 of us now. We started back in 1971 with 13, and now we are 46 members strong. And so I bring greetings from my caucus. Let me start by being very clear. There are African American tech professionals who are ready, who are willing and able to work for tech companies and sit on boards of directors. When I first started this work as chair of the CBC, I had this lofty idea that we would look at the Fortune 500 companies and we would examine their diversity or lack thereof, and that we would use our influence as CBC members to try to exert pressure to try to change this appalling data that we saw. But once we got into it, we realized that it was unrealistic for 46 members to take on 500 companies who collectively gross more than $12 trillion a year. And so we redefined our strategy and decided that we would concentrate on the technology sector. And then we found that there are many companies who fall within the technology sector. I just thought it was 10 or 15, but there are many companies who fall within the technology sector. So we've started to try to concentrate on the top 20, not exclusively the top 20, but certainly the top 20 have been within our reach. And so we've been working very hard for the last few months to try to make that happen. And so that's why we're here today. To announce that, well, let me back up a minute. Companies can no longer, in our opinion, stand on the crutch that the lack of a talent pipeline is the reason that they have failed to significantly include African Americans in technology. As we've traveled around and talked to technology companies, one of the first excuses they give us is that there's not enough talent in the pipeline in order for them to recruit and to employ and to retain qualified individuals. And we have found that to be somewhat of a myth. And so that's why we're here today to announce that 7 African American tech professional organizations have answered our call to create diversity inclusion plans that will develop current and future tech professionals. In their plans, which they will discuss today, each organization will outline concrete steps to help advance the cause of increasing African American inclusion in technology. The presence of these organizations demonstrates that there are professionals with science, technology, engineering, and math backgrounds who have the experience and ability to thrive in not only entry-level jobs, but also mid and senior level positions. The talent is there. The talent is here. We do need to train more African Americans in STEM, but focusing too intently on the talent pipeline has been used by some companies to simply kick the can down the road and fail to develop innovative approaches to including African Americans. Twitter, you recognize that? Twitter is not the only example of a company that has been too slow to tap the diversity of available talent and of its users. The tech industry will not have true diversity until every company has a CEO. It starts at the top, ladies and gentlemen. Until every company has a CEO committed to diversity. There's a shift in the company's culture that appreciates that African American inclusion is critical to the company's bottom line and to the vision of changing the world. Companies have to do the important work of not just hiring diversity officers, but also of reaching beyond existing social, professional, and educational networks to include others from outside of their tightly wound cliques. That's why we're calling on companies to reduce the weight they put on job applicants being recommended by people who already work in the company. When companies give significant weight to a job applicant who knows someone in the company, that applicant has an advantage over a person who does not know anyone in the company. This practice of rewarding people who have connections in the company reinforces a lack of diversity since the current employees are not diverse. Working with organizations such as the ones we have here today can certainly help expand the pool of applicants for tech jobs. Additionally, implementing a process similar to the Rooney Rule that ensuring that there is a female candidate and an underrepresented minority in the interview pool is another key step. And so as we enter this great year of 2016, which has already begun, we will take some very important steps. First, we will focus more intently on the African American representation within the government affairs offices of the technology companies that have plenty of available talent in Washington, D.C. Second, we will travel to additional tech hubs outside of Silicon Valley. They're not all in Silicon, to meet with the leadership of technology companies. The other members of our task force will be organizing events in their respective districts to engage a broader group of stakeholders. Third, we will be working with a broader section of tech companies, including telecommunications companies, financial services technology, and biotech firms. Finally, we will also highlight the work of innovative tech companies that are setting clear goals, taking risks, and producing results. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of work to do. Our work continues. And if you like what you've seen so far, just wait until you see what's to come. We have a very ambitious and very robust plan for making America's companies diverse and inclusive. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your friendship. We look forward to the panel discussion today. Thank you.